All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dowell. I'm going to talk about this Charlottesville situation, and then I'm going to go ahead and explain to you, at least from my perspective, what I believe is going on, regardless of what's being reported. Because remember, they have the slogan, "We report, you decide," but they decide what they report, and they give you multiple choice to pick from. And then that's what you get to make and base your decision on, which I don't think we have a free press in this country whatsoever at all. I think it's all controlled establishment free press. I have watched the government in a concerted effort make sure that they demonize Patriot groups. Now, I'm a little bit different than many of the other preachers and teachers and pastors that you probably would ever meet. And the reason being is because I'm a veteran. I'm not the only pastor that's a veteran, but I'm a veteran. And when I was in the military, I defended and supported your right to protest and to be objectively disagreeable. There are things that you believe. I want you to listen to me very closely. There are things that you believe. I may not like what you believe, and I may totally disagree with what you believe. But I support your right to believe it and will defend you and help defend you for your right to be able to have freedom of speech. You see, that's what mature individuals is all about. I don't have to agree with you and you don't have to agree with me, but we do need to be supporting each other even though we disagree. And there's nothing wrong with being objectively disagreeable. There's nothing wrong with hearing each other out. But see, the line is crossed is when you start trying to practice bigotry and being a bigot. When you're totally intolerant of my perspectives and point of views, or vice versa, I am totally intolerant of your perspectives and point of views. And then we begin to actually resort to physical abuse over just a simple disagreement because we just we just choose to disagree. If there's one thing that I hate more than anything, is racism. And I see what the powers that be is doing in the day, the time, and the hour that we're living in. They're bringing about a division. They're bringing about a division. They're doing it in all different ways. Some are soft forms and some are hard forms. But it's a sad, sad shame when you have Americans fighting Americans because we don't agree with each other. I mean, if you want to protest, protest. I can protest you protesting. But that don't mean that we have to sit up there and come to blows and start killing each other and everything else. That's what they want you to do. I know people that are part of Patriot communities, and they are nowhere near racist. I know this Constitution very well, and I just don't sit there and flash it either. Mine get thumped so hard and stuff that even at times, look, it even get paint spilt on it when I'm painting it. When I'm painting or doing something. I'm very familiar with that and the Declaration of Independence. I'm familiar with all this stuff. Because this country was built on certain principles. Now, I mind you, I'm not ignorant. I know the history of this country. I know that a lot of things were written down in this book. It didn't apply to me, and it didn't apply to my people. And I watch in function today, while many people are saying it's applying, but in function, I don't see it applying whatsoever at all. I think more than anything, the problem is bigotry. And not only that, I think more than anything is that the American people has been dumbed down to an unprecedented level that we get so excited that now we want to call each other disparaging names. We want to tear up individual personal property. We want to get to the point to where we get so emotional and have so much visceral against another person that we would literally jump into a vehicle and drive over our own countrymen because we disagree with them and protest it. That's some very serious mind control. That is some very, very serious mind control, and it is off of the proverbial chain. Listen to me. I realize that everybody can't be intelligent. I realize that a lot of people, they're just too busy being controlled by feelings. They're controlled by thoughts that come into their mind. And most people don't spend time checking these thoughts or checking these feelings. They just run with them. But the New World Order, the country we live in, they are doing their damnness to bring division amongst American people. And that includes all you racist people, be you white or black. It's sad. It's just really, truly sad. And Charlottesville is just another one of those staged events. And you know how I know it's staged? I keep highlighting this more than anything. Because the police was told to stand down while Americans abused, killed, and beat the living hell out of each other. It's too much emotion in this and too much living by emotions. Now people are getting arrested for knocking down statues, and the statues don't trouble me one bit. They don't bother me one bit. There's an old saying that we have down here in the South, which is mind your own business. And I try to make sure I practice that. Well, what a world this would be if people did that and were just kind and generous to each other. But I'm not biting off on this of the government's demonization of patriots. No. It's just a sad situation. It's a sad thing that's going on today. And I really truly hate to see people so easily coerced and manipulated in their minds up here that they can't even function and have a sound resolve today. Because somebody can say something we don't like and we get emotion and we can't stand it. Listen, I preach. One reason why I believe that you don't agree with the things that I preach is because you have not spent the time nor the energy or effort to actually study to see what I believe and to see if the things that I'm presenting, if it's so. That same attitude and that same posture can follow over into politics. It can follow over into in and out of everything. It can. You know, it takes mature individuals. It does. It takes individuals who are sound in mind, sound in body, and sound in judgment. It takes those. It takes those kind of people that's going to make sure that we as a people will be able to function as a people. Because I tell you, between the chemtrails, between the news media, and between everything else, all the propaganda that's going on in this world, the powers that be, through psychological discourse, has done everything they could and everything that they can in their power to make sure that the American people is divided. And I'm not with it. I know that there's only going to be a few people that hear. I know that there's only going to be a few people that hear. But hey, I hope that some of it is you. So when you're listening to people like me that have an alternative perspectives and point of view based on the information that's presented and what's going on in this world, and those of us who speak from experience, maybe you should spend time listening rather than hearing something and then getting emotionally disturbed over what you're hearing, and you yourself haven't even really truly investigated. What is this, here now and make it later? There's an old saying, because you only got one life to live. And it says, enjoy the journey, but not the destination. And you know the reason why? Because you haven't made it to the destination yet. So you need to make sure you pour in the right way all your time, your energy and the effort in the journey, and make the journey as pleasant as it can be in a world of turmoil. Once you get to the destination, then you can enjoy that. I hope I said something to stimulate thought. I want you all to have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And listen, we're all opinionated in this world, okay? We really, truly are. But we really, truly need to learn how to honor and respect each other.